What is going on, guys? John Kelly here to talk about Underdog Fantasy's new pick'em format for MMA. And I love any style pick'em format. I've always loved pick'em format, whether it was on DraftKings or some of these other fantasy sports related websites. And I'm super excited that we now have an MMA pick'em format for Underdog, and I really like it. So basically, my idea is we're going to do a video series where each week I do a short 5 to 7 minute video where I talk about the pick'em format. I give you three picks that I like for that week, and we'll just have a little bit of fun with it. If you don't know what Underdog's pick'em format is, basically you're parlaying props together. So the minimum is 2 picks, and that'll get you 3x. 3 picks will get you 6x. 4 picks will get you 10x, and 5 picks will get you 20x your money. So it's a really fun style format, and I do think there's a decent edge there. Anytime when people are making their own lines, there's always going to be an edge if you know what you're doing, and I think I do. So I'm hoping that I can help you guys make a little bit of money, and obviously we're going to have some fun along the way. So starting off with this week at UFC Vegas 47, we're going with my guy Carrion Harris over 36.5 significant strikes. This one I think is just they're kind of sleeping on Harris in a sense, because Harris fights at a really high pace. I think because he's had 2 first-round finishes and he's facing a guy who in Rachmanov who has a ton of finishes himself. All of his fights have ended inside the distance. But I actually think this is an interesting matchup where I wouldn't be shocked to see it go outside of the first round, even though both guys have a ton of first-round finishes. And at the pace that Harris fights at, I really think he's going to go over that number. Full disclosure, I've already bet some of these, and I did get Carrion Harris over 30.5, so a little bit better than what it's currently at, but I do still think it's a solid play to parlay together at over 36.5 significant strikes. Just the pace that he fights at, I do think he's going to have some physicality advantages against Rachmanov, who doesn't deal well with pressure. We've seen him backed up in multiple fights, and he's kind of unproven in the sense where we haven't really seen him into deeper waters. And against a guy like Harris, who's well-rounded, he can hang in the grappling realm, he's powerful on the feet as well. I think he goes over that number as long as we don't see a finish in the first round. Next play that I like is my guy Punal Soriano, under 1 takedown. And I like this because while Soriano does have a little bit of a wrestling background, and we've seen him go to the wrestling a little bit in some of his previous fights, I don't think that's going to be the case in this matchup. Obviously, Soriano has the heavy left hand. He's going to have a clear striking advantage, but I think there's multiple ways where we can get there with this pick, because Soriano, 5 of his 8 wins have come by knockout. I mentioned the power. He's facing a guy in Nick Maximov who doesn't have great striking and tends to fade as the fight goes on. So I think, obviously Soriano can knock him out early. That gets us there if he doesn't land a takedown. But I also think that this matchup in particular, he's not going to be looking to take the fight to the ground, because that's Maximov's only path to victory. Maximov is going to be the one that's trying to take it to the ground. He has a collegiate wrestling background himself. He's the dangerous black belt with those guys out in California. The Diaz brothers trains with them. But that's really what Soriano needs to avoid. So I just don't think we're going to see him display that wrestling as he has in the past. So I like under 1 takedown on Punal Soriano. I don't think he even shoots a takedown in this fight. And lastly, rounding things out in the main event, I like the under on Sean Strickland's takedown prop. It's at 1.5 right now. Again, full disclosure, when I bet these yesterday, unfortunately didn't make the video right away. I bet it at under 2.5. So obviously that was a much better line on Sean Strickland, but I actually don't think we see him land a single takedown, to be honest with you. And if he does, oh well, so be it. But I just don't think that's the game plan here against Jack Hermansson, who's similar in the Soriano-Maximov fight. I really think Strickland's going to want to keep the fight standing. It's going to be Hermansson that's trying to close distance, go for takedowns, get his grappling going. I think Strickland's going to want to keep the fight on the feet, where he has a clear striking advantage, especially over the course of 25 minutes. I know it's a 5-rounder, so there's always more time to where maybe he starts mixing in the wrestling late, like he did against Uriah Hall, landed 4 takedowns in that fight. But again, I just go back to styles make fights, and this is not a matchup where he'd be wise to take the fight to the ground. So I like the under 1.5. Like I said, I actually played it at under 2.5, but I think it's still playable at under 1.5. I don't think we see many Sean Strickland takedowns in this fight. So that's it, guys. The 3 picks I like on Underdog. We got Carrion Harris over on significant strikes. We like Punal Soriano under 1 takedown, and we like Sean Strickland under 1.5 takedowns. Play them all together. You get your 6x on Underdog. That's all I got for this week, guys. Good luck, and we'll see you next time.